Friday Night Racing.
On Off the Ball.
And they're off.
Brought to you by Go Racing. Plan your day at the races at goracing.ie.
And you're very welcome along to Friday Night Racing, and it is indeed Friday night if you're streaming this live on the radio this evening at 8 o'clock, or indeed if you're catching us this afternoon across all of our social channels, youtube.com/offtheball, facebook.com/offtheball, or on Twitter and Periscope. Then you're very welcome, and please feel free to leave comments. We'll get to them as we go across the way. And John Duggan is here with us.
Ger, good afternoon or good evening.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
This is, we're going to meet and drink now of the National Hunt season, where we begin to decide which of these horses are the horses we're going to follow for the whole year.
Yeah, and what I've been doing is I'm more of a jumps man than a flat man anyway. So I've been looking at stable tours. I've been collecting them in the Racing Post every day for about the last 3 weeks, and getting books and getting guides. And I'm going to do a lot of research now over the next probably month or two. I'm not going to have many bets. I'm just going to watch because, like, you know, a lot of horses are coming out. Ground conditions are, you know, for example, we got good ground at Navan on Sunday, which is kind of unusual for November.
Yeah.
So it's a watch and see and learn part of the year for me. Maybe not for other people who might be getting involved, but really good racing this weekend. And this for me is the first big weekend of the season, because we have the Betfair Chase at Haydock tomorrow. We got the Gold Cup 1 and 2 from last year, Native River and Might Bite going up against each other. And then we got a really big race at Navan on Sunday, the Troytown Handicap Chase. So I'm beginning to lick my chops. And I'm looking forward to getting my head into this now before Christmas. And I think by Leopardstown at Christmas, I'll be really, really into it now.
We'll, of course, talk in more detail a little bit later on about those specific races. But in the meantime, let's bring you our guest this week, and it's Shane Foley. Shane, good afternoon to you. How you doing?
All right, lads. How are you keeping?
How are you, Shane?
Good.
A couple of quick things. Are you just back from your stag in Vegas? Is that a hard now life you jockeys have?
Yeah, there was 21 of us went to Vegas 10 days ago. Yeah, we all came back in one piece, thank God.
No arrests, no tigers, no Mike Tyson stories that you want to share with us?
No, nothing. No, look, we definitely had a good time, but we didn't go to that extreme.
We'll get to the summer and everything that has gone on in a couple of minutes' time, but what are your plans for the winter? Because obviously, we were just talking there, we're in the best part, really, where everybody has high hopes for the National Hunt season. For you, things begin to wind down pretty quickly at this time.
Yeah, well, I'm actually staying around this winter and getting married next Saturday, so that's kind of my first and foremost thing for the winter, and I'm taking the month of December off, but back full swing in January, and Mr. Zhang has a couple of horses to run maybe in Maidan, so we could get a couple of trips to Dubai, but been in Japan the last couple of winters, and it's my first winter back home for a while, so it's nice.
What is Japan like at this time of year for a jockey? What's that lifestyle actually like?
Very, very different, very different. It can be a lonely place. The racing itself is very good. Loved riding out there, but Monday to Friday is very hard. It's very hard to put in the time, and time zone is different, obviously, to home. And then you're not allowed phones or any social media or any connection with outside for the whole weekend while you're racing. You're kind of in lock-up and shut down. But as the racing goes, I absolutely loved riding out there. There were great people to ride for, and the prize money is unbelievable. And
how do you end up? Is there an agent who says, look, I think you'd actually work really well in Japan? What's that business connection? How does that happen for the first time for you?
You have to finish in the top 3 in your country to get accepted. They're quite strict on the rules of getting a jockey's license in Japan. So we only get a short-term license is what it's called. But I was third 2 years ago in the jockey's title behind Pat and Colin, and there's an agent, a Japanese agent that actually owns a couple of horses with Michael Halford, and he approached me, and I said, look, I'd love the challenge, and it's a bit of a gamble going out there. You have to put yourself up, you have to pay everything. It's a gamble you take that you hope you do well, but thank God it did.
It's a crazy story. And Monday to Friday, what are you doing? Are you based in Tokyo? Is that where most of the action is?
Well, I was down in Kyoto. There's two separate training tracks, and they don't really want you to ride out much either. You only ride out one morning a week. You sit on a couple of horses, but your day literally involves a lot of Netflix, a lot of walking. There used to be a Starbucks about 12 kilometres away. I used to walk there, have a coffee, read a book, walk home, have a bit of lunch, onto the gym that evening, and then Netflix for the night then. But that was it for 2 months solid.
Shane, you walked 12 kilometres for a coffee? Fair play to you.
Well, it's just to knock in the time more so than, I was very, very fit while I was out there, and but just not really else to do, and you just have to try kill time.
58 winners this year, Shane. You must have been hoping that the year would go well as a freelance, and it's gone fantastically. You had a winner of the 2,000 Guineas, and you're getting married. I suppose life couldn't be any better right now, could it?
Yeah, well, look, it was a very important year for me. It was a step into the unknown going as a freelance jockey. But no, look, it definitely couldn't have went any better. Obviously, topped up by a Guineas winner and landed a job with Mr. Zhang as well. But no, it's been a very bright year, and really looking forward to next year, to be honest, because we're picking up a lot of good spare rides come the end of the year, and plenty of trainers getting rode for a lot of separate different trainers, which is always a good sign.
Let's relive the 2,000 Guineas. So here is a big outsider and a big victory for Shane Foley. Have a listen.
Racing now to the final furlong, US Navy flag, 3 and 4pence, Gustav Blind, Romanized putting in a big run towards the near side. They're racing inside the last 250 yards, and Romanized has come through now for Shane Foley. A big shock in the Tattersalls Guineas, a classic win for Shane Foley and Ken Condon.
Have you watched that back? Have you been kind of sitting there idly thinking?
Yeah, no, it's something I don't dwell on too much, to be honest, but obviously it's there. But no, delighted, and obviously really delighted for Ken.
Ken Condon,
yeah. Ken has been a loyal supporter of mine throughout, since I've been an apprentice, and to repay him riding the Guineas winner was fantastic. And no, he's a very talented horse, and I think we'll see more of him next year. He can be quite quirky, and things landed right for him in the Guineas, and he's staying in training next year, which is always a help.
And he was last out of the stalls that day, Shane, so you had to come from last to first, and you're passing horses along the way, and then you're winning going away in an Irish Classic. What is the feeling like as a jockey when you're in that moment, say 2-3 furlongs out, when you know you're picking off horses, your horse is responding to you, and you're about to win a Classic?
Unbelievable. I really got to enjoy it, because the jet setting in mind, and we flashed by the line together, and I wasn't quite sure. I thought I'd won, but I couldn't really celebrate. But I knew Romanized, obviously, he had worn them down late in the final furlong, and I was a comfortable 2.5 length winner, and there's no feeling that can describe that. And especially with the year, it was my first year as a freelance. There was a couple of different things, and a lot of emotions came out after that. But no, look, that's what we get up, we work hard every morning in the cold and wet and wind, but days like that really repaid,
And jet setting, you just mentioned there, that was your win in the Irish 1,000 Guineas. That's the 1 mile race for fillies, the Classic in 2016. And as you say, this horse was a 9-1 shot, went from the front, and Aidan O'Brien hot pot was trying to wear it down in the last furlong, but you held on. And that horse was trained by Adrian Keatley, I believe. Ken Condon training Romanized this year. Great to see, Shane, that it's not always about the big guns. The big guns are so important. We see it at the Melbourne Cup, we see it at the English Classics, but it's also important for trainers that are putting the effort in, that they can also have Classic success.
Yeah, big time. Look, that's what we all try for. Look, it's very hard to compete with the likes of Ballydoyle and John Goslin's and that, but it just does go to show that it can be done. And the buzz in the parade ring when we returned was unbelievable, just for local people and people that don't usually win it. The crowd really appreciated it.
Also, this freelance thing came about, I think, Shane, because you split from Mick Halford. But we've seen it before in racing. We saw Johnny Mercia went through John Ox. He went to John Ox, he went to Ballydoyle. Davy Russell was a retained jockey for Gigginstown at one stage, and then he ended up as a freelance, riding the Grand National winner on Tiger Roll for them this year. So that's the way it goes, I think, isn't it? It is changeable. You move between different yards, and you just have to keep going at it.
Yeah, you just have to literally just keep your head down and just keep battling away. Like I said, there was no falling out. I rode a Group 3 and a listed winner for Michael this year. So, look, there was no falling out, and I ride for him tonight in Dundalk as well. So, no, look, that's racing for you. It'll happen. I'm sure he'll have another hit again along my career somewhere along the line. But the thing is to stay going. And Davy Russell was a complete show of that, to just keep the head down and working, and it comes full circle again. But that's the racing game, and you can't fall out with anyone. You just have to keep going forward and keep your nose clean.
When something like that happens, do you kind of have to reevaluate everything that you've been doing and think, well, okay, I need to decide that everything I've been doing has been right so far, and I'm backing myself for everything I've been doing, or do you go back and reevaluate and say, well, okay, maybe I need to change things a little bit, I need to put myself out there a bit more, I need to deepen my connections, I need to talk more to more trainers and more owners and just make sure that I'm front of mind when they are thinking about who should be riding their horses?
Yeah, well, look, everybody is different, but without sounding cocky, I have a lot of confidence in my own ability, and I know myself I'm a good rider. I mightn't be the most stylish rider in the weigh room, but I know I get the job done, and if the horse is good enough, I'll win on it. But I just sometimes people need to change up, and a change is good as anything. But I knew myself at the time. I said I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I didn't change anything. And last year showed proved dividends of that. Probably one of my best years for the last 4 years. So no, look. It's all about confidence in this game, and you have to be confident in your own ability. I
mean, that's the thing, because it must be tempting when something like this happens to lose a bit of confidence, or to have your confidence knocked and just automatically reevaluate things, but to come out the other side and then to have that year. Like, I'm always interested in the psychology of riders, because you're one of the few sports where the strike rate for a successful jockey is actually losing 9 times out of 10. You know, if you win 1 time out of 10, you're like, well, that's like about as good as anybody's ever going to get. So you have to get used to being beaten and all that kind of stuff that most other sports people, you know, they're in a one-on-one battle or their team wins and they don't lose 90% and still have an amazing career.
Yeah, exactly. Being a jockey is kind of can be a bit isolated and be on your own, and some people deal with it better than others, and you're going to have more bad days than good, but you have to really relish the good days, because there is obviously going to be more bad days, and like you hear what they say is your last winner, you know, and things like that. But like I said, there's a lot of good jockeys out there that are not getting the chances, that don't get the horses to prove themselves, and that's just the way of life. It's the same as, I'm sure, in a lot of other sports as well. There's plenty of good hurlers and footballers that didn't get to show their shine because they weren't the right place at the right time. But no, look, if you have the ability, you need confidence, and confidence is a big thing in our game. I think if you lack a bit of confidence, but there can be trainers there and owners, and it's a big thing, and it's a big financial effort for everybody to put in as well. So there's a lot on your shoulders when you're going out to ride them horses, you know.
We heard you speak about hurling there. We hear you're a big Kilkenny fan, Shane.
Yeah, well, if Greg the man and hurling will be a big part of me. Probably the most hardest thing I did was move up here to stop playing hurling, but I knew it was either hurling or racing, and there was no money to be made of hurling at the time, so I went with the racing.
Were you at the 4 in a row game in 2009?
I was.
That's all you need to say, Shane.
Yeah, don't need to say any more.
And also, I was interested when I was thinking about this, Shane. Reaction speed. When you're in a 30 runner, race on the flat, like a 5 furlong race in the Curragh, you need reaction speed to pick a spot. And in hurling, once again, you also need reaction speed. Maybe they're quite similar in ways.
Yeah, look, you have to be quite. Hurling is very, very sharp, and the way the game has gone now, it's even sharper. They're athletes, really. All the county hurlers now, and racing is the very same. Split-second decision can be the winning and losing of a race, and split-second decision in hurling can be the winning and losing of a match if you do it the wrong time. But now it's hard to say hurlers are the same as jockeys, but like you said, it is a split-second quick, and you have to be thinking on your feet, and think that's what separates the good from the really good, the lads that can make them decisions better.
You're speaking about athletes there, and obviously at this time of year, you probably have to watch your fitness, and I know you're big into your fitness, Shane. But Dundalk, I think it's great. I think you had a Shadow 7, I think one for you on Wednesday in Dundalk, and I think it's important to have these all-weather race meetings at Dundalk through the winter, both for jockeys' fitness and also for these kind of horses coming through, especially like young horses, 2-year-olds, and that we have that facility here now in Ireland. Yeah,
Dundalk is unbelievable, because it'd mean that if we didn't have Dundalk, our season would be finished up in 1st of October and not starting back till March, and that's a long time not to be. Like, not everybody can go away. People have families and kids, and some jockeys, you know what I mean, and the other guys are not happy to go away. But Dundalk keeps everybody. It keeps trainers, staff bringing the horses, jockeys. It's great, and look, they're getting full fields every day, so there's plenty of horses in the country, and people still love running their horses there, you know.
A couple of quick comments coming in for you. Tess says, sure, there's no calories in sushi. Japan must have been perfect for Shane. When you were telling us about that, I was thinking, well, like, the rest of us can actually go on these. We're going to try a different Japanese restaurant every single day of the week, and we can have Japanese breakfast, lunch and dinner. You're like one meal a day or whatever. Maybe raw fish is the perfect environment for you, is it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be fussy now when it comes to food, and I quite enjoyed the food in Japan. That was probably the best part about it, is after the racing was the food. I enjoyed it. Used to eat like a king for Sunday evening, Monday and Tuesday, and then scale down because I had to do 54 every day, every weekend out there. So.
And what's your walking around weight here?
I'd say now, this time, I'm probably a bit heavier. I'd be 8, 10 or 11, but during the actual mid-flat season, I'd be maybe 8, 7, 8, 8.
And how do you deal with this? Because we had Donnacha O'Brien in recently enough, and he'd had like a slug of Red Bull and 2 jelly snakes in the 24 hours previous, and he was actually heading up to Dundalk for a Friday evening race meeting as well, trying to make weight. Are you more scientific about the weight maintenance?
Yeah, well, definitely. I wouldn't suffer with my weight as much as some guys. You know what I mean? I like to eat healthy and I exercise a lot, and like I said, going around, but just being busy and racing has me a couple of pounds lighter. But at the moment I'd be 8, 10, but I had dinner last night and breakfast this morning. And
what are you having? Like when you're having breakfast, is it porridge? Is it what do you like? I presume it's not
porridge this morning and 2 slices of toast and a cup of tea. So
all right.
I went shooting for an hour, then went to the gym and came here. So
you went shooting?
Yeah.
Did you have any luck?
Got one. Was a bit wet.
And are you mad for the sauna, Shane? Do you have to like sweat it out?
No, I don't sauna at all. I'd rather just indicate in before I came here and just done 40 minutes on the airwalk, or just kind of leaves you right going racing and that. But I had plenty of exercise, and we have horses at home as well to be done as well, so there's no fear of being sitting around anyway.
Another one here, Ray says, great question from John. I always wondered what it would be like to come tearing through the pack in the final furlong. Kind of cinematic. It was a cinematic Guineas victory for you this year. At what point do you know you're going to win? Is it only when you cross the finish line and look around, or is there like this is happening for me right now in the middle of it?
No, halfway in the race in the Guineas, he kind of started to pick up and hadn't really gone for him. And between the 3 and the 2, he started to roll. And then from the 2 to the 1, I knew everything in front of me is dead, and I knew I was last, so I knew there wasn't anything going to come from behind me. So I knew kind of furlong out, I said, Jesus, I'm going to win the Guineas again, and just like that feeling was unbelievable. Is there a soundtrack in your head? What's the music? I don't know. No, there's no, but just...
Not the Rosamund coin now, hopefully, Shane. Hopefully not.
I think more Black Beauty, something like that.
Just on that, Ger and Shane, are you are you shouting at the horse? Are you talking to the horse? Are you talking to other jockeys? Is it just going too fast in a 1 mile race at the Curragh? Would you be, shouting at the horse for him to go, or does the whip come out? Or are you just completely silent? No,
some guys roar and shout at them. Niall McCullough in the tight finish, now you'd hear him from a mile away that he's roaring, but I never. It's just some lads have it, some lads don't, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't... the only time I'd ever talk to a horse would be in the first furlong or 2 if they're trying to be a bit fractious. I'd be whoa and trying to get him to relax, because I think the first furlong is as important as the last furlong, that the horse settles and does things right. And I think that's kind of what helps me a bit, that I don't panic early and I give the horse every chance to finish,
That's interesting. Like, there are horses that you've ridden out on that you'd be saying that to? Do you have to have that relationship with the horse already, or is that can that be some horses that you've just met for the first time?
Yeah, no, just feel met for the first time. It's like everything. If you're relaxed and you want your horse to relax, your horse will relax at some stage. Now, some horses are keen going, some aren't, but some of them are a bit fractious and they can run on their nerves. So if you're tense on them and you're looking to squeeze up into a gap, they'll be tense as well. Whereas if you're relaxed and you want them to relax, you might be a place further back than ideal, but your horse is saving energy throughout, and you'll have a bit of horse left in the finish, hopefully.
And how did you get into this? At what point did you think, you can make a living and this could be the lifestyle for you?
Well, I never rode a horse till I was 16 years of age. I went to school in Wexford and Go Council, and went to school with Sean Flanagan and Matthew O'Connor and a couple of these guys, and they were mad into the horses, and I was pally with the guys, and I kind of got the bug from there and came up to the apprentice school in Kildare, and I haven't really looked back since, to be honest. Before
you go to the apprentice school, does somebody let you up on a horse? Or you how does that happen? Because who's the
boys throw me up? Throw me up on Matthew O'Connor. I don't know, Matthew. He rode Big Zeb.
Strawberry, yeah.
Now Strawberry. He threw me up on a hunter of theirs when we went home from school one weekend and let me off loose, and I think they got a good laugh out of that. But that was my first ever experience of being on a horse, you know.
And you, from that point, were like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, I kind of seen there was jockeys down around the area, and they used to drive big cars, and they seemed to have a good life, and I thought, geez, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny because like there's sliding doors moments in people's lives where that doesn't happen. You're not there that weekend. You don't get that opportunity, and you know, because it seems like you've found a lifestyle that suits you. That you're really into travel. You need to be able to go around the world. That you can actually be in your own company, courtesy of Netflix, for long enough to succeed somewhere like Japan, that you can have the strength of character to maintain your confidence. Partly, I think, because of your athleticism and your willingness to do the hard stuff that a lot of people maybe aren't willing to do.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was never afraid of a bit of hard work, and that hasn't stopped me. But no, I absolutely love riding horses, and I love riding winners, and I just love winning, really, to be honest. And I think that's what drives me more so than anything. It's just winning, whether it's riding a horse or playing a game of five-a-side with the boys or playing Davy Russell's hurling match. I just want to win the whole time and kind of come out of my shell a bit. Like I get a bit aggressive too sometimes when it doesn't happen, you know what I mean? So I think it's just the drive to win, you know what I mean? And even some of them horses that you think have no chance, I still go out kind of thinking to myself, look, this could run well or might win if I got a run somewhere. Like, and realistically, you might have no chance, but you have to just go out with that attitude that this might win if you're in the right spot, you know.
I have one last comment for you from our YouTube commenters. Paul Byrne says, what the hell does a jockey do on a stag, except that he's going to pile on some pounds from the sugar alcohol or be the resident killjoy and abandon the rest of the stag at 9 o'clock? I mean, I presume you didn't go home at 9 o'clock too many nights in Vegas.
No, I definitely didn't go home at 9 o'clock. No, we done a couple of we went to the pro bull riding, was on the bull riding championship. We had a VIP box and that. Conor Hoban organised the whole thing, but we done the Grand Canyon tour and we zip lined and we shot machine guns, so it wasn't just all party, and we actually seen a bit of Vegas as well.
Fair enough, that's fair enough. You weren't tempted by the bull riding at any point? They were like, hang on a second, you could do this.
Yeah. I don't know how long you. I wouldn't last. Well, I wouldn't last as long as you on that. I don't think, Shane.
I don't think I would either.
When is the big day?
Saturday week, next Saturday. Tomorrow week.
What's her name?
Lorraine Reid.
Oh, very good. Well,
I've been together for a long time now, so about time I made an honest woman over.
And an honest man out of you. And have a fantastic day, Shane. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks a million, lads.
Congratulations. Thanks a million. That's Shane Foley joining us there ahead of his wedding, which is obviously the most important thing in the world for him. So,
absolutely.
Look, it's great to see people kind of being successful, especially. I love
that interview.
It's not straightforward.
It's not straightforward. No.
That relationship that you have with somebody that breaks in a professional environment for whatever reason, like it's just a natural. It seems like these things run their course a lot, and it probably you're going to have fewer and fewer of those situations where there are a single jockey tied.
Yeah, I think perseverance. I think what I felt when he was speaking to us was perseverance, that he even can believe that he can win on horses that possibly have no right to win. And it does actually happen, Ger, that sometimes a horse does have a good day, a going day, and can surprise you. So I think that he's shown huge perseverance this year. 58 winners, I think, is his best return since 2015, and this is his first year not being attached to Mick Crawford's stable. But as he said, he's still riding for Mick, and he had that Romanized. I watched the race recently again, and it was a very good win.
It does sound particularly cinematic. Okay, so let's move on. This week, with thanks to the Tote.com, we have a €100 charity bet. Any winnings from our Tote bets will, of course, go directly to the Irish Injured Jockeys Fund. Last week, Johnny's selection was third, Clementina at Cork, so our balance remains €1,485. You can keep an eye on the Tote.com or the Tote social media to see what the payout's going to be on our selection this week. What is our selection going to be this week?
Well, there's a really big race at Navan on Sunday, Ger, called the Troytown Handicap Chase. I think it's a €100,000 race. It's on a 1/2. It's a 3-mile handicap chase. So I would just say about this race is there's a race at Leopardstown at Christmas called the Leopardstown Handicap Chase on the second day of Leopardstown. The form of this race is hugely significant for that race at Leopardstown at Christmas. So even if you don't back the winner this week, keep an eye on the first few places to see, because these horses turn up again and again in handicap chases over the season. The one I'm going to go for €50 each bay bet on a horse called Squaw Squouateeu, or it's about a 12-1 shot at the moment. Barry Geraghty's decided to ride this horse for Gordon Elliott. He's been a talking horse. He's gone to Cheltenham. He's been third. before in a Leopardstown chase, the one I was just speaking about there, the handicap chase. I think it's the Paddy Power chase. But he's a horse that has got a lot of ability and engine. He just needs everything to fall right for him. But I think off 10 stone 12, I think Squatter is a horse that first time out this season, they might just catch him right. Gordon Elliott had another horse called Outsam who was also in this race, who won the Cork National first time out this season. But I like the look of Squatter. Barry Geraghty could have ridden Spider Web for Tom Mullins, who won the Munster National at Limerick. But I like the look of Squatter. I think for an each way bet about 12 to 1, I think he's in their frame to be definitely placed. Minella Bow is a favourite for Willie Mullins. Rogue Angel, 2-8 per me is another one you might want to take a look at in a race that has 25 runners, I think, at the moment. 2-8 per me is trained by Noel Meade, and he's got a habit sometimes of improving horses. I definitely remember when he had that Road to Respect, he really improved that horse, and this horse won very easily the last time, I think at Galway, 2-8 per me. So I would be putting that one in the notebook, but the horse I've gone for in this race, Ger, is called Squatter, each way about 12 to 1.
12 runners for Gordon Elliott as it stands at this stage.
Yeah, I think he's won the race for the last 5 years.
Not bad, is it?
Mala Beach last year, which we tipped on this programme. So, look, it's his local track. He's from the locality, so he'll want to do well this week. The
other race that you want to talk about at Navan on Sunday was the 1 o'clock, which is the Monksfield Novice Hurdle.
Yeah, it's just always interesting once again, Ger, to see who performs in this race, because Sam Crow won this race last year. The going, as I said, is good, which is unusual for this time of year. So Dynon's the number one. Davy Russell picking that, I think, is significant. He's definitely the best horse in official ratings and was an easy winner last time at Cheltenham. Felix de G, number 3 on the card, was a horse I was really looking forward to watching this season. He was too free in the Cheltenham bumper. In other words, he was too exuberant and he didn't finish his race. Won first time out the season and then flopped last time out, was last of 7. So he's a horse that you put, I think, a little bit of a squiggle beside. You wouldn't back him. But Felix de G, Davy Russell deserting him doesn't say a lot for his confidence in him this weekend, but he's a horse that I don't want to discard going forward. I think the top one will probably win it, but I wouldn't be probably having a bet on it. I think it's a race to watch and see if some of these horses like First Approach for Noel Meade or Easy Game for Willie Mullins might improve in what they've shown. This is a race where you might see a horse actually improve on Sunday and then stake a claim for some of the bigger races later in the season.
Okay, so these are definitely keep a watching brief on.
Yeah, watching brief on.
And the other thing that we should be talking about is the Betfair Chase at Haydock on Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, this is really big. This is a really big race, Ger. The biggest race of the season so far across the water, because it has the top 2 in the Cheltenham Gold Cup from last March in it. So Native River won the Cheltenham Gold Cup, beat Might Bite. It was really between the two of them on softened ground over 3.25 miles at Cheltenham. This race is on better ground, good ground, over 3 miles, so less, a quarter of a mile less at Haydock tomorrow. I think it's at 3 o'clock. I'm going for Might Bite. He's around the even money shot. He won the King George last season over 3 miles. I think he idled when he won that race. In other words, that he was just doing enough in front and he was wanting horses near him. He won the Betway Bowl at Aintree, so he won both races of a high class between the Gold Cup, and I just thought he was outstayed by Native River. I think Bristol Demai won this race last year by 57 lengths, but the ground was like a bog last year. It's completely different conditions.
57 lengths?
57 lengths. Just because he's a course specialist. He's won 3 from 3 at Haydock, which is near Liverpool, that track. Thistlecrack, a former King George winner, is a bit of an intriguing runner, about 10 to 1, if he returned to his best.
Yeah, so Thistlecrack had an injury, was that?
That's right. And sometimes horses never really recover and come back after injuries to the way they were.
But Thistlecrack was like, not a wonder horse, but not...
Yeah, he was...
Definitely being talked up a lot.
A Gold Cup winner. Then got injured and has never been the same, and was beaten by Might Bite in the King George last year. So I think Might Bite will overturn the form with Native River because of the ground conditions and the shorter trip. I just think he's a little bit speedier horse over 3 miles in good ground. Not a certainty at around the even money shot. Clan des Oboes is fulfilling the places in the race, but I'm going to go with Might Bite to take on Native River and win tomorrow.
That'll be a great weekend's racing. Whatever you're doing, if you get a chance to go racing and see these magnificent beasts in person, then you should take it. Of course, a reminder that Friday Night Racing is brought to you by Go Racing. Check out goracing.ie for more details. That's our lot this week for Friday Night Racing. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Ger.
We'll see you again real soon. Take care.
Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
And they're off.
Brought to you by Go Racing. Plan your day at the races at goracing.ie.